Long friendship, one of the more unusual careers in pop music, and a telephone answering machine. The story of They Might Be Giants. And that's our report for tonight. I'm Chris Bury in Washington. I hope you'll join Ted Koppel shortly on Up Close.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABC News, now traveling to all 50 states in 50 weeks in search of America.
How big is your chimney?
A Christmas premiere on ABC.
Tonight on Up Close, one of the more unusual and durable careers in pop music, the partnership known as They Might Be Giants. They've been sustained by one of the more loyal audiences around, consistent critical acclaim, and just this year by their first Grammy. Oh, and as you'll see, a telephone answering machine played a big part. We first got to know them and their work a few years back when my colleague Robert Krulwich asked them to write original songs for Nightline series Brave New World. Now a new documentary by A.J. Schnock, Gigantic, A Tale of Two Johns, tells the story of their do-it-yourself success. And we asked him to adapt his film for us tonight. Robert and A.J. pick it up from here, or actually from the Giants' home base, Brooklyn.
Well, we're going to let you in on a little secret here, which is, after all, the function of a news program, to tell you things you didn't know. And this program is about a band. The secret is actually widely shared, but kind of privately, by hundreds of thousands of people who've fallen in love with a musical band called They Might Be Giants. I'm one of them, and A.J. Schnock has made a film about them.
Yeah, and I was intrigued both by all those people who loved them, and as well as the fact that they have been friends since grade school.
Right.
They met in a small town in Massachusetts and went on to have this 20-year musical partnership that's still very vibrant and thriving, and they have this almost chemical connection, the way they work together.
It's a chemistry, actually. It's not just between the two of them, but it seems to flow out to the audience because they write lyrics. They write songs about subjects that no one else writes songs about. They're very smart, and then
they're very funny too.
They're funny.
There's just so much to see, but the best thing about New York City is
it's like the 20th anniversary of They Might Be Giants now, right? You guys have been around.
Well, we aren't the original members of the band, but if John and John, the original guys, were here, I'm sure they would have some stories to tell.
as I got hit by a car, there was a message for me.
They might be giants. They might be rain. They might be heat. They might be frying up a stalk of wheat. They might be giants. They might be brain. They might be washed. They might be Dr. Spock's backup band. Tabloid footprints in your hair. Tabloid footprints everywhere. We can't be silent because they might be giants. And what are we going to do unless they are?
I don't remember ever meeting you.
Yeah, I think that at some point early on, I got John confused with a bunch of other students who were in the next grade. I think I probably met him in the hallways of our junior high school at some point. And he was like a very, he was way more gregarious than I was. And he was kind of interested in just like, talking. Like, I think I was a much more shy kid.
Well, John is a year older than me, so it doesn't seem like that, big a deal when you're, 41 and 42 to be a year different. But in a lot of ways, our relationship is, still kind of frozen in that way that he's always a year older than me.
We had a really good friend, this guy, Jimmy Mack, who turned us on to a lot of what essentially was kind of like proto-punk music. He played us the Ramones, and he played us Iggy and the Stooges, and all this stuff that in 1976, 77 was really, pretty much a local New York experience.
Up until that point, I think saying that you thought you should be in a rock band was sort of like saying, I think I should be the Incredible Hulk.
And I taught you how to cyclops rock.
They've never really relied on being signed, per se. They record what they want to record. They play the songs they want to play. They tour when they want to tour. They've made unique videos that were accepted early on. They've opened the doors for other alternative artists. They've really been the vanguard of alternative, and I think that their importance can't be underestimated.
It was sweet, like lead paint is sweet, but the after effect left me paralyzed. I just stare with my one glass eye, hoping you won't be back again. There's a whole...
How serious a documentary is this, actually? I mean, have people been truthful, or...
Yeah, people have been mostly truthful.
Have people pretty much said that they're nice guys, or what's the...
Most people say that they're nice guys.
Have you talked to anybody that really knows them?
You could participate in the rock and roll with They Might Be Giants, but you didn't have to be pretending to be more messed up than you are. You know, you didn't have to pretend to be some bacchanalian messed up person. That you could just be a normal middle-class driver and still enjoy songs in 4/4 time. And I always thought the perfect symbol of that was, you know, how they like flipped that old Who slogan, hope I die before I get old, and they have the song, I hope that I get old before I die.
Oh, it's a long, long rope they used to hang you soon, I hope. And I wonder why this hasn't happened, why? And I think about the dirt that I'll be wearing for a shirt, and I hope that I get old before I die.
I think John is a musical genius. I mean, I think, you know, John is like the biggest, you know, musical influence I've ever had.
Up Close, brought to you by Chevy Trucks.
Perfect gift. But this is amazing. 52 songs, 2 CDs, it even has a book.
But no is interactive. My kids go crazy for the animation.
But I like the hits. Make a little birdhouse in your soul. You're not the boss of me now.
Really? Does it have that Don't Let It Stop song?
Yeah, sure, but that interactive thing, I'm into that.
I want to check out this compilation.
I want them both.
No!
Worry to ABC.
That's a beautiful song, though, still. How can you combine something about a nightlight that, to me, sounds like something, a birdhouse in your soul is like an image that you can't shake after that, and it's a beautiful, beautifully written line, and the whole song is beautifully written by any standard, and a gorgeous melody, and but then it's actually about a nightlight. That's too much for a lot of people to process, I think. And so they're like, oh, well, and then it's called wacky, which cracks me up.
No one in the world ever gets what they want, and that is beautiful. Everybody dies frustrated and sad, and that is beautiful.
One of the really curious things about They Might Be Giant songs is if you just looked at a lyric sheet, you would probably think it, you know, this would be like song after song would just be some dirge, you know, because some of the lyrics are really depressing. Like the lyric,
everybody dies frustrated and sad, and that is beautiful.
You know, kind of a downer idea, but it's, you know, it's in this, it's beat. Everybody dies frustrated and sad, and so many of their songs are like that.
Because I think even the songs that might initially seem peppy, and then they actually seem to be like they're about like I'm dead and you walk in my grave, I think even then, if you continue with those songs, you know, I think they're actually peppy again in a sort of a horrible way, you know, like a really dreadful, I mean in a good way, dreadfully good, you know, good dreadful. They're weird songs.
They'll need a crane to take the house he built for her apart to make it break. It's gonna take a metal ball hung from a chain. They'll need a crane to pick the broken ruins up again, to mend her heart, to help him start to see a world apart from pain.
As far as I'm concerned, for what we do, it's not interesting just to like publicly cry, you know. It doesn't even have the effect of making me sad if somebody else is doing that. I think the thing that's really sad is when somebody represents some kind of inner sadness some other way.
The end of the tour, when the road disappears. If there's any more people around when the tour runs aground, and if you're still around, then we'll meet at the end of the tour. The engagements are booked through the end of the world, so we'll meet at the end of the tour. And we're never going to tour again. No, we're never going to tour again.
So, take me back to Constantinople. No, you can't go back to Constantinople. Been a long time gone, Constantinople. Why did Constantinople get the works? That's nobody's business but the Turks.
John Flansburgh is like the showbiz guy. He's got a bit of vaudevillian in him. That's what I always thought. He is very kind of vaudeville / burlesque. And he really is Mr. Showbiz, you know. Whereas Linnell, kind of more, he reminds me of Emily Dickinson in a lot of ways.
And I always thought, you know, that was almost cheating that they're both named John and that there are these two different personalities. Because from a metaphorical standpoint, it's very appealing to me that there's the extrovert John and the introvert John, and John Flansburgh is the extrovert. You know, he's the real showman, the rocker, the guitar player, the impresario.
Flansburgh is both half of the band and he's Colonel Parker. Like, he's the one calling the factory at midnight to be sure that things will be shipped to Newark at, 7 in the morning so the trucks can get them out to stores. And, also, like, negotiating the contract with the TV network. You get the feeling that, like, that's what Flansburgh's doing.
Flansburgh, he has a, 31-hour day. So he's just doing more stuff, than anybody on the planet, I think. He could be the president of the United States.
I think Linnell genetically has this gene or something that allows him to write these incredible cascading melodies that just stick in your cranium.
And he's got like this gorgeous, perfect lyric. It's like an afternoon.
I think John is a musical genius. John is like the biggest, musical influence I've ever had. Working with John, just kicks my ass so hard all the time to try to sort of write to his level.
Say I'm the only bee in your bonnet. Make a little birdhouse in your soul.
The thing about Dial-A-Song, that when you call up, you're the only person. The tape is playing for you and you alone.
Barely hear you. I can just barely hear you.
This is the studio. This is my one-bedroom apartment that I lived in all through the 80s and 90s. And it's now my workspace. This apartment is also the home of Dial-A-Song, which is this trusty Recordicall 675, which can be found, this costs $2.
When they did Dial-A-Song, which was really basically a way of filling in the gap when Linnell was injured in a bike accident. He was a bike messenger and broke a small bone in his hand, and they couldn't play. Flansburgh came up with Dial-A-Song as sort of a stopgap measure, just as a way of producing stuff, of still keeping their visibility.
The coolest thing about it was just like, we got to write more songs. Like,
Yeah,
now.
it was often a way that it was a way to get things done when we were kind of scratching our heads saying, well, I just wrote 10 songs. I don't need to write any more songs.
Right. We ran this ad in the Village Voice and on the back of the Village Voice. That was like kind of the primary way that it was advertised.
Everybody checked the bulletin board, whether it was for finding a lover or something else going on, tickets for something, who knows.
The massage parlor ads cost $50 and the personal ads cost $10. So I actually told them that it was just it's like my personal message. I have this dial-a-song service, and they're like, is this a business? No. Is this like promoting something? I was like, no, it's just my thing, like it's my little trip, leave me alone. And I would pay my $10 every week, but because of that, I was afraid to ever put a message that said where we were playing or who we were or anything about the band on the machine. So when you called Dial-a-Song, all you heard was the song.
The thing about Dial-a-Song, and this is still the case, is that when you call up, you're the only person. It's you and the machine. There's only one telephone line, so the tape is playing for you and you alone at that particular moment. So I don't know why that makes it better.
It also really bonded you with the band because you could hear songs that weren't out yet. You could hear songs that were in progress. You could hear fragments of songs they were just working on. And that provided a real sense of intimacy with a band that you don't usually get.
When I was in high school, I used to call up Dial-a-Song all the time, and there was a different song on there all the time. And I go, how the hell do these guys write and record a song every day? I think for a while there was changed every day, or I don't know how long it was, but every time I called, it was a different song.
And sometimes it didn't work, and it would just ring off the hook, or it would be busy. And you could make 15 minutes out of your day trying to get through to Dial-a-Song.
I knew people who depended on the music on those phones to prove to themselves that you could renew your life, or like a little pillow, a musical pillow they could go to sleep with every night.
Yeah, I would call it to cheer myself up, and I remember once just being, I don't remember what I was devastated about. Like, looking back, I can't remember anything really bad that's ever happened to me, but just remember once being in tears and calling it up, and there was this song about how there's an ant crawling up my back. I don't know why, I just started laughing because it was just a silly idea of this insect, or insect, tickling your skin. And, how bad can the world be if there's a song about that and a phone number in Brooklyn you can call to hear about it?
I got my house surrounded. I know I'm in there. Come out with both my hands up and don't make me come in and get me. Don't make me come in and get me. I can't hide from my mind, though I try. I can't hide from my mind, though I try. Hi, this is John of They Might Be Giants. You've reached They Might Be Giants Dial-a-Song service. 25 hours a day, 6 days a week. That music at the end of the tunnel for the next generation. Thank you for calling. Tell your friends. We're going on tour in a couple of weeks, so see us out there on the road. We'll be in Washington, D.C., Baltimore, and places in Florida. So see you there. Bye.
We prefer not to objectify They Might Be Giants. It's got to be a world of unlimited potential for us.
Oh,
Everything looks beautiful when you're young and pretty.
John and John will never have the problem of almost being nothing. Their somethingness is rock solid. But it is America. And in America, the only way you're truly validated is if the entire country at some point stands up and says, "We love you." So of course you want that. But in their case, I bet they've got the solid place. You know, sometimes it must seem a little frustrating, but they've got it. And you can see in their eyes that they know they've got it.
You called me last night.
on the telephone, and I was glad to hear from you, 'cause I was all alone.
We prefer not to like objectify They Might Be Giants. It's totally, it's got to be a world of unlimited potential for us. It can't have a style or an idea preset to
Well,
it.
it's interesting.
You know?
Well, because it's like the idea of it being a musical universe, you would think like it's a musical universe starring us, but for us, it's like a musical universe starring otherness.
It's the musical universe.
Yeah, it's the, and it's kind of, I mean, in a way, you know, even the way we thought the name was kind of interesting is, and is so different than the popular interpretation of what makes the name interesting, because for us, They Might Be Giants was obviously, you know, just as a set of words, was this outward-looking thing, you know, that it was like, you know, some guy sitting in his, looking out the window, looking out at the world, and it was like about that stuff going on out there that you might not be able to understand.
But the best thing about New York City is you and
To watch up close any time of day, go to our website at abcnews.com.
This has been a presentation of ABC